Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, An Offer He Can't Refuse. The man who rules the world gets a job offer he can't refuse in this action-packed all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes, An Offer He Can't Refuse at Amazon.com and other online booksellers. A Washington, D.C. teenager is accused of inappropriately touching a New York City woman who was riding an R train with her 4 children. On this portion of the video, I usually put up a news report. However, this guy had the complexion for the protection, so there's no news reports as related to this story. However, there are news articles, and you can check those out in the description box. Now, according to reports, 18-year-old Ari Stein was allegedly riding an uptown R train standing behind a woman who was riding the train with her 4 children. And as Ari Stein was riding this train and standing behind this woman, this is where the woman accuses Ari Stein of allegedly reaching under her clothing, slipping under her underwear, and slipping 2 fingers into her genital area. And after he allegedly assaulted this woman, Ari Stein then fled the train, and the woman then went to the hospital and possibly filed a police report. And after this police report was filed, this is where Ari Stein turned himself in, and after he turned himself in, he was then arraigned by police and charged with aggravated sexual abuse, forcible touching, and endangering the welfare of a child. And what's more disturbing than Ari Stein's alleged behavior was the response from the judge here in New York City. Now, the judge in this case, basically after Ari Stein pleaded not guilty, basically released Ari Stein without bail, and Ari Stein is now currently on the streets here in New York City. Now, the police here in New York are seeing this as an isolated incident. However, when I take a critical examination of the alleged behavior Ari Stein is accused of participating in, it definitely fits within the pattern and profile of antisocial behavior of beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's clear to me that Ari Stein's behavior that he's accused of participating in fits within the pattern and profile that I talk about in 2 chapters, the sexual frustration of the beta male and the sexual deviancy of the beta male. And it's clear to me that Ari Stein possibly is one of those beta males who possibly has a lot of sexual frustration and does not know how to express himself in an appropriate way sexually. Now, when it comes to a lot of these beta males basically they have what Dr. Robert Glover called in his book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, a lot of sexual shame. And as they have this sexual shame that they learn from an early age, they go to a place I call the secret world, where they feel they can safely go out here and express themselves sexually. And this whole situation of these men going into the secret world, sadly, it has been exacerbated over the last couple of years, as many younger boys have been exposed to adult entertainment on the internet because they now have their own devices. And as they have their own devices, they go on the World Wide Web to many of these adult websites. And as they go on these adult websites, they are exposed to sexual content at an early age, and as they're exposed to this sexual content without being taught anything as related to a sexual education, this is what leads to these boys winding up in the secret world, going out here and thinking that the acts that they're seeing in these adult films are actual acts that they can go out here and look to participate in. And as they go out here and imbibe all this adult entertainment, they basically start thinking about going out here and participating in these type of acts. And this is an escalation of their antisocial behavior, because instead of them seeing people as people, because they have just been desensitized as related to the adult content, they start seeing people as objects. And as they see people as objects, they believe that they can go out here and act on people in this inappropriate fashion. And that's what happened, I believe, here as related to the behavior of Ari Stein. As he was on this R train, he basically just saw this woman and saw an opportunity to go out here and be able to go out here and participate in the deviant sexual acts that he basically imagined after watching a lot of this adult content online. And as he was escalating his behavior into interacting with real people, he then looked to go out here and participate in this deviant act, all while he was on a crowded train and while this woman was with her children. He basically had no regard for this woman or even the public place he was in, because in his mind, he was in the secret world, and in the secret world, he didn't see any people. He just saw an opportunity to go out here and participate in his debauchery and his deviancy. And as he saw this opportunity to participate in his debauchery and his deviancy, he went out here and again, not inappropriately touched this woman, and did this in the presence of her children, showing how, according to these reports, how depraved and twisted he was, and showing how this guy, as I see it, definitely is a clear and present danger, and basically is the type of guy who should have been locked up, because when it comes down to this type of individual who participates in this type of predatory sexual behavior, they're definitely going to do it again. Unfortunately, because Ari Stein comes from possibly a certain religion and has a complexion for the protection, the judge gave this boy a pass to basically continue roaming the streets. And as they gave this boy a pass to continue roaming the streets, what they've done is basically leave this predator out on the streets to go out here and prey on other women, because for him to go out here again and to participate in this type of behavior shows how this young man has been out here possibly again imbibing all of this adult content, possibly watching it on many of these devices like cell phones and tablets and laptops for many years. And now, after imbibing so much media, what he wanted to do was escalate his behavior by going out here and interacting with a real person, and interacting with a real person in real time, as related to, as he was in the secret world looking to go out here and get his rush as related to getting power. Because when it comes down to sexual deviants like this are not doing this for the pleasure of a partner. Now, in a relationship, a partner in their private home will do sexual acts to gratify the other partner. But when it comes to the deviant, it's all about them getting their rush as related to getting the power over someone and having the power to humiliate and control someone. That's what Ari Stein was looking to do with this woman in the presence of her children. That's what he was looking to do. He was looking to go out here and take away this woman's power, take away this woman's agency by going out here and touching her in the most intimate part of her body on that train. He wanted to go out here and look to take away this woman's control over her body and control over herself inside of that train. That's what Ari Stein wanted to do, and he wanted to go out here and get his gratification from being able to say that he could go out here and go on this train and basically take away this woman from her body and touch her in the most intimate space. And what makes this whole situation just that much more disturbing is that this man did this in front of her children. That's what makes this whole act really extremely depraved and really twisted. And what's even more twisted than that again, is our criminal justice system, that if you are white, you can go out here and participate in this crime and basically just be released on your own recognizance. That's what I find to be most troubling, because had this been a black person, definitely this judge would have been saying this guy would be taking a trip to Rikers Island and be called a sexual predator. But because this guy is a tourist from Washington, D.C., and it has the complexion for the protection, the white supremacist criminal justice system basically gives this guy a pass, and gives him a pass to go out here and possibly do harm to other people, because as he rode this train and did this to this woman, there's a definite chance that he may once do it again, because from what I have done research on as related to these type of predators, once they go out here and abuse one woman, they go out here and look to abuse more women, and they look to abuse more women because this is the way that these men get power in the secret world. And as they look to get more power in the secret world and get that rush from the power that they have from being able to believe that they can go out here and take away a woman's agency over her own body, they look to go out here and look to commit these crimes and look to go out here and again do this on the low, because this is all about them looking to keep their world smooth, because that's what this college student wanted to do. He wanted to think he could go out here and be anonymous on this train and possibly get away with this crime. However, his family possibly told him that, you did this thing and now you have to deal with this. Or he possibly had realized that, there possibly would be a police report and they would be looking for him. But this guy, basically, as I see it, is getting a pass from the New York City criminal justice system that he should not be getting. No, this guy definitely needs to be locked up because he's a clear and present danger. But in the system of white supremacy, that's the scariest part about this man crisis. Again, if they're white and they participate in sex crimes like this, people want to give a guy like this a pass, not understanding that guys like this eventually escalate their behavior from participating in deviant acts like this on a train to eventually looking to go out here and look to humiliate a woman by participating in violating a woman, or escalate their behavior into behaviors that are more antisocial, like serial killing. I mean, when it comes down to guys like this, they are some of the most dangerous individuals. And what's even more disturbing to me is how the New York City criminal justice system is trivializing the danger of a guy like Ari Stein. Again, this 18-year-old boy basically is a boy on the road to becoming a man in crisis, and definitely is a man in crisis as I see it, because if somebody doesn't get this guy some help, he definitely is going to go out here and look to escalate his behavior, because that's the pattern that these guys have. And eventually they reach a point where they start seeing women not only as objects in their fantasies, but looking to do harm to women, because they get their pleasure from hurting and humiliating women. They get their pleasure from harming women, and they get their pleasure from seeing a woman broken down. And eventually, the ultimate thing they want to see is the life leave the eyes of a woman. That's what makes these guys a clear and present danger, and one everyone needs to take seriously, because when it comes down to these type of beta males, they are the most dangerous ones in this man crisis, and the ones that we need to, again, understand that if you're in the presence of one of these guys, you have to go out here and file all the charges you can, or get this guy the help that they need, because this type of behavior, it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse with these type of guys if there's not an intervention done to deal with this type of deviant before they go out here and eventually just take the life of an innocent woman. Now, if you want to learn how to identify the behaviors of a beta male and be able to get somebody in your family help, or identify this behavior so you can know how to avoid these type of individuals and the danger that they create, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Draft Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to see me talk more about The Man Crisis, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS Runway of Doom. The goddess next door struts her stuff on the catwalk to take on a runway of rogues in this action-packed all-new ISIS series adventure. Get your copy of ISIS Runway of Doom at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, Esteem a New Woman. The devilish diva starts on the road to becoming a new creature in Christ in this all-new Esteem series adventure. Get your copy of Esteem a New Woman at Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.